when did you realize that? I can't speak for anyone but myself, but according to the literature, it's such an academic thing to say, according to the literature, and to almost every person of color with whom I've shared my story and listened to theirs, there was never an option. People of color in America have always known they were people of color in America. So I would go on to realize over the next 3 years, through things like MacBook Airs only being allowed to be used in academic scholars courses, field trips only offered to honors students, the fight to include all students in cross-curricular or grade level activities, discipline referral after discipline referral after discipline referral, disproportionately written with the names of my black male students, and then the absences they would accrue because of suspensions, and even through things as vile as comments that I would hear at the lunch table or to my face by my colleagues, going so far as to call students of color monkeys. This was in 2014, to my face. So I realized that black bodies are not treated the same as white ones. Again, I was 21 years old. My whiteness had given me the luxury of not knowing this is the way things were until then. And once I had seen it, there was no way I could ever unknow this or ever unnotice. So I continued to love my students. I worked really hard and with much vulnerability and just probably made a fool of myself, but I don't care, to learn from my students' cultures and lived experiences. I listened to the radio stations that they listened to on the way to school just so I could keep up with the language that they were using, because you weren't pulling something over on me. And I even began a race relations club with a professor at UA in order to teach students how to start talking about race and inequity and injustice and all of these things that are typically taboo in the classroom and in a lot of our homes. Things were happening outside, so this was toward the end of my secondary teaching career. So things were happening outside the cement walls of the classroom, especially surrounding the 2016 presidential election, that were significantly affecting the lives of my students. The deaths of Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice at the hands of law enforcement officers and the ensuing acquittals of these men terrified my black students in a way that I never could understand in my white body. And I would come to learn why they felt this way as they began to share their stories through writing and through reading and through spoken word poems and things like that, that this came from some of their own experiences in their neighborhoods and communities, and from the connections or severed connections they had to countless brothers, cousins, uncles, and many fathers who were behind bars. And the election that year, the election and the campaigns leading up to the election, also really electrified the air at our school, and the hallways turned into political rallies sometimes. These are middle schoolers, 6th through 8th grade. Trump trains would conga down the corridors, and Black Lives Matter shirts would be worn and disallowed. So anyway, all of that kind of was happening at the end of the time I spent in the classroom. I made the hardest decision of my entire life, bar none, to leave the classroom in 2016 to pursue my PhD. I really just felt like it was a door the Lord was opening. I did not want to leave my students in my classroom. I wasn't burnt out, wasn't scared, wasn't overwhelmed. I left because I needed to walk by faith, and I did. And so I began studying race and racism and oppression and systemic inequity and equality, unfair schooling, and all those things with a focus on the literacies of black middle school boys and their relationships with white teachers. So that's where I am today, about 1 year, hopefully less than 1 year away from becoming Dr. Kidd. However, lots of things have happened along this journey for the past 3 or so years that have built and broken me. This topic of study and my passion for becoming anti-racist, not just not being racist, but becoming anti-racist, was entirely unexpected. It's come with tons of resistance from people who were once my biggest fans, and also with many, many, many long, late nights trying to make my own experiences with capital O others match up with the high theories and philosophies my professors expect me to use to explain them all. And this has been extremely hard, but I've been able to do it. I've learned to play the academic game, the publications, presented at national and international conferences, the whole shebang.